Welcome to the Roots and Rhythm podcast, where we explore the essence of culture, our experiences, and a healing journey that shapes our growth in family. Through heartfelt stories about marriage, mental health, relationships, and parenting, we create a space where you can find connection, understanding, and inspiration. Join us as we explore the rhythms of life, one story at a time.
What's up, everybody? Yeah. Welcome to another episode of the Roots and Rhythm podcast, where we explore the rhythms of life, one story at a time, as always, day in and day out, week in and week out. It's your boy, Vlad the Bull, your number one embrace coach, and I am joined by the one and only
Angie, La Cyber Mommy.
La Cyber Mommy is in the building.
Ooh.
It's going to be Halloween soon, so I'm getting my Frankenstein on, get my zombie on.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you hear something real funny? One of the funniest laughs I had this week was there was a lady on TikTok who commented on my video, and she said, "First of all, sir, I know an AI voice when I hear one, and I'm going to be listening to more of your content to make sure." But I'm like, oh, shoot, she was serious. I mean, you really think that my voice is AI? I'm going to take that as a compliment. Shit.
You sound mad fake.
I was like, damn, bro. Like, what did I do to you, lady?
Oh
damn.
my goodness.
But for real, this lady really thought my voice was an AI voice, like one of the ones that you find on TikTok. And I said, well, I am a voice actor. So you can look up my voice acting accolades. But yeah, I'm like, go to my website, bro. Like, it's not that deep. It's not AI.
Why do we have to use AI?
Because AI is pervasive right now, sis. AI has got
obviously
people
use it, but why would us have to make our voices be AI? It's just our regular voice.
I don't know. All I gotta say is that I'll receive it if that's a compliment, but that's all I'm gonna do. Because, and for those of us who are watching in the audience, if you think for a second that this is artificially produced, any of this stuff, please holla at us, because we're not. This is what Roots and Rhythm is. We at the roots.
We're very real here.
Roots don't lie.
No.
Okay. Leaves may change colors, but the roots stay the same. You feel me? All right, let's do that. So today we're talking about everything love and relationships, but more specifically, losing and gaining in relationships. What do we lose? What do we gain? And for those of us who may seem like a crazy kind of, for those of us who don't understand exactly what that means, what I mean is we know that coming into marriage, the growth shouldn't stop, right? We should continue growing as individuals as we grow as couples. But oftentimes we get astonished when we realize that there are things in relationships, that behaviors, attitudes, habits that we can't necessarily bring in and smooth over in those relationships, right? So things do have to change. And you ever seen somebody in a relationship like, man, you changed. And there is healthy sacrifice of those personal habits.
Yeah.
And then there's unhealthy sacrifice. And so what does that look like for us? What does it look like for a healthy relationship? And how do you know, building off of what we talked about last week on red flags, how you know it's a red flag when you are giving up too much? Is there such a thing? Some people don't think there is. So that's what I got to say. Let's chop about what you think about that.
Yeah. No, and I think in relationships, you're going to do both, right? You're going to give up a lot, but you're also going to gain so much from that person, from their relationships and what they are going to bring into the relationship so you guys can grow together. But then you're going to lose. Honestly, to me, the biggest thing is like just being able to do without having to consult someone.
Yeah, that's
you can't just move. You can't just move for yourself. You have to like think about, okay, how is whatever I decide to do right now going to impact my spouse, my kids? You have to think in the collective versus in the individual, and I think that that's hard to give up, especially when you've been single so long, or if you get in a relationship already, like as an established adult, because it's easier to do when you've been in a relationship since you were like teenagers and then you grew together.
Right.
You've been doing it for so long, it's second nature, but not when you're like 40 and then finally in a committed, serious relationship that you're like, dog, I got to really talk to this person
like
before I take a step, But it's like, that's what you're committing to, like to move together. So it's tough, especially as you get older.
So let me ask you this. Who was Angie? Wait, what was your maiden name again?
Hernandez.
Oh, yeah, Hernandez.
Yes.
All right. Who was Angie Hernandez before she met Wallace Thomas?
Oh, I was just doing.
You were just doing
just moving.
Yeah.
You know,
just moving and shaking.
And again, I talk about being the oldest all the time. So I was moving and then telling people what I did versus like taking that into account or like really having this whole conversation and saying, okay, what do you guys think about this? No, I'm the one that is like, okay, we're doing this and we're doing it X date, X time. Let's do it. Right. And then I met Wallace and I was still doing that. But then I had to like step back and be like, wait, I wouldn't want him to do that to me now that we're like a collective. Right. So then it's like taking that step back and saying, okay, this is what I want to do. What do you think? Right. And then doing it together. Or Wallace is a thinker. So he'll be like, well, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't, or you shouldn't do it right now. Maybe you should wait or or did you consider this? Because I do stuff and then think about the consequences later. Like I'll fix whatever's there later. But that's good in some instances. But
you still do that?
I do.
Yeah.
But I'll talk to Wallace first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you'll give him heads up. I'm about to do this.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, and I think Wallace will use his own discretion and be like, okay. Or he'll be like, wait, you know? Yeah. But at least I'll tell him before I just do stuff.
So you guys met in college, right? So before you met in college, were you much of a partier?
No.
Did you go to parties or anything like that?
I mean, I did, but it wasn't like a every weekend type thing.
It wasn't every week. Okay. So, but you did. You like your friends, your girlfriends, and all like that, and you never drank.
No.
On campus, anything like that. Okay. Well, how about Wallace though? Was Wallace?
Oh yeah, Wallace used to drink.
Oh, he was drinking.
Yeah.
He was a partier.
Yeah.
So how much has that changed, if at all, and how quickly did it change when you guys started dating each other and were finally committed? Because you were still committed in college, which is a hard thing to do, right? Yeah,
so we'd go out together, and then I'd be like, we can't do this again next weekend. So pick.
Yeah, we can't
like, so
just so you know.
Right, so pick which weekends, but it can't be like back to back. It definitely can't be Friday and Saturday.
Oh, wow. All right, because on campus, Thursday,
and then Friday and Saturday. Like there was something every night.
I didn't know this. Well, I didn't really experience this except for like 1 or 2 weeks that I lived on campus. But people drank from Thursday to Sunday. I'm like, that's a lot of drinking. I drank on Thursday and I went home Friday.
Oh, and then Taco Tuesday at El Jalisco. You know, so it's like then you had tacos and margaritas on Tuesdays.
Well, y'all had tacos and margaritas?
Yeah. So it's like
Yo,
we had an Applebee's on campus.
There. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Massachusetts is whack. Y'all were having Taco Tuesdays and Applebee's, and we were stuck with some bland French fries and pasta that was just boiled.
Oh my god.
Rice that had suffered through its cooking, and as you could tell, it suffered. That's how bad it tastes. It was just I'm like, yo, bro.
Oh my gosh.
You could have put some poison. If you're gonna poison me, you could put some poison in here. It tastes better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But yeah, so it's like if you really wanted to, you could. Every single day there was something, you know? So I'm like, all right, we gotta take it back. We were both like in Greek life. So I'm like, if you already have a party that you're putting on, like your organization's putting on.
You can take me to the party.
You don't have to go to everybody else's party. Do you know? So it's like a balance.
You can bring your shorty. And that's exactly what he did after. Yeah, it's interesting. So as you know, I met Julie much later in life. And by much later, I mean like, let's see, college started at 18. I met her 4 years later. Like right when I was supposed to be graduating college. It took me 5 years because I transferred so many times. Before that, I liked going out. And I used to be for the nightlife. We were just talking about this. Our friends are trying to get together on Saturday. And I'm being Mr. Grumpy Pump. I'm like, yo, bro, I just want to go to sleep because I'm speaking that day. I'm like, I don't want to do all that. But back then,
you would have done it all.
I lived for the night. I was a creature of the night. You know what I'm saying? So before Julie, like I said, I had dated somebody my first semester in college. And, you know, we talked about this on another podcast. It just wasn't a good fit, right? Not for the long term, not for me. Because at 18 years old, man, I was trying to socialize. I was trying to expend all this energy that had been kind of dampened while I was in high school. Didn't really get to do much. So partying and having that was, as many young people, when they go to college, it just was something I wanted to enjoy and I couldn't experience in this relationship. So I think it's amazing that you and Wallace found that balance. And I'm going to go ahead and assume here that it was cool if you went to a party with your friends one week and he and vice versa, and it wasn't a problem. See, it was not that case for me.
Oh, okay.
So it got to a point where I'm like, you know, the person I was dating at the time, she would get angry if I was hanging out with my friends on a Thursday or a Wednesday night and not with her.
Mhm.
I'm like, you pay for your dorm, I pay for my dorm. Why am I not sleeping in my dorm?
Yeah.
I'm paying for it. So yeah, and that was before. When I met Julie, though, I didn't really give up the nightlife. I was still going out a lot. At least I would say every weekend for the first 3. I'd say like the first 3 years of our relationship. That would put me like at 25. Right before I went to the state police, though, man, it was very different, and that experience changed my life in a lot of ways, but definitely changed the way I looked at nightlife too. Different standards, as you know, for police officers. At least it should be,
Right?
because we know not everybody got that memo. But to say that it was a problem for Julie, I don't know if she had a problem with me going out. I think it was more so who I was going out with, what I was going to be around. I've never been a guy that like going to strip clubs. I hate that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't do strip clubs. And it was more so just going out and dancing, right? And which is like, again, why do I want to go out dancing? It's like I just don't want to be awake that long, because then the next day is tough. But was that something that Julie necessarily had a problem with and asked me to stop? If she'd asked me to stop it, would I have said yes? I don't know. I don't know if I would have at that time.
Right, at that time, right? Because you guys were just dating and it wasn't,
Yeah,
I don't know if it was serious.
home.
Yeah, Yeah, so it just depends. But I think especially now as we're older, we're married.
Yes.
You guys have to move in the same direction. But it's still important to have like those separate relationships, friendships outside of your marriage, because again, you're still your own person and have some sort of autonomy. You don't have to do everything together.
So how much time, though, is what is a healthy amount of time? Like, for example's sake, let's talk about a year. It's 365 days. Or let's talk about percentages. What percentage is acceptable in a marriage for a spouse to be spending with their friends in social time versus their spouse? Because especially as us, we have our spouses, we're married, we're parents. Sometimes you just need to get out and do what my boy David says, and have some loud music therapy. And you would like to do that together, but then there's also those other relationships that need to be fed. And some people think that you can't feed those relationships as you once did, just as an individual, that you got to bring your spouse along to everything. And some people don't. So what is your take on that?
I would say, and it also depends if you have kids too, because you also want to spend time with your kids individually. And I'm not saying it has to be like a whole day, but just at least a few hours. So maybe with your spouse, a healthy amount, I would say like 60%, and then 40% for your kids. Well, the 60% could be family time too. So, and then the 40% for your friends, your own individual interests, like alone time for yourself too, to like reflect and gain some self-development, and then friendships and outside activities.
That sounds pretty fair. Fair to say,
right? 60%. I think that's great. So you're with your spouse 60%, and that includes 60% of together family time with the kids, and then the 40% of individual kids, and then your other relationships and self things.
Has there ever been a time where, while it's like, I'm going out with the boys tonight, no girls allowed, and you were just like, well, can I come? You're like, nah. Has that ever happened before?
Yes. I mean, I want to go to everything all the time. But Wallace sets those boundaries. One, because who's going to be with the kids? It's not like we have, so many people. But and then sometimes we do, like, it'll be all of us, and then me and the girls too, because our friends his friends are my friends. It's not like he hangs out with anyone that I don't like.
Right.
But he does. He goes out with the guys by himself, and it's like, okay, fine. But he puts it on the calendar in advance, so I know. And then I'm like, oh, well, if you're doing it, then I'll go out with the girls another day.
So in that conversation, though, right, about having a healthy balance and doing so, growing as individuals and as a couple without leaving each other out, how do you do that, though? Like, how can you be in a relationship and still make time for your friends and want those relationships to be individual? Is it okay that there are just some things that you're just not invited to? Not out of exclusion, just out of I want to maintain the integrity of my relationship with my friends.
I think so, because you make time for what you want. So currently in our schedule, Wallace travels a lot for work.
Right.
In those travels, there's days where they're not doing anything. They're literally just waiting for the next show. They just are in that space of where the show's going to be.
Right.
He does all the things that he knows I wouldn't want to do when he's with the band, which are his friends, family, brothers, whatever. Mm-hmm. So if there's like some action movie that I'm just like, who cares? He'll go see it with them while he's out. Because when he's home, he's home.
All right. Well, all right, let me ask you this. What if it was an action movie? Does it depend on what he's doing outside of it? Like, what if the guys were like, all right, man, we're going to go out to bars every single day that we out on the road?
Oh, and they might. But Wallace doesn't drink every time he goes out.
Would that make a difference?
If it was becoming problematic, like if I knew Wallace had a drinking problem, you know, but he doesn't. So if he goes to the bar every day, he might drink 2 out of the 4 days or 1 out of the 3 days. It just depends. Or every day if it's been a crazy week out there, but it's not going to be like a problem, right?
Wallace calling you like, yeah, man,
right. And it's never, and he's never going to get like that, right? And then on my side, every Monday and Friday, it's Mom's Club. So we have
y'all are very passionate about
we get our steps in, we yap, we talk, we go grocery shopping. So it's Mom's Club. So it's literally on the calendar. And Wallace is very good if like the band wants to have a rehearsal or something. He's like, oh, I can't. Like if it's things that can be moved, he'll be like, oh, it can't be on Friday. Angie has a thing. You know, so he's very good about doing that because he knows that that's important to me. So yeah, so I carve that out because that is my mom time. That's what I'm doing. Everybody knows it. The girls know that Wallace is putting them to bed. I'm not going to be there, and everybody's aware. And I think if you do it that way, like you schedule it and you know that it's coming and everybody knows and it's there, then it's kind of like, you know that that's where I'm going to be. So don't bother me.
Don't bother me.
Don't bother me. It's my time.
Right.
You know?
Right. I like that. I do like that. And I would say, yeah, for the most part, unless I think Julie's like dead in a ditch somewhere, I'll leave her be.
Yeah.
And I try to encourage her to have more mom's time. I feel like it's been harder for her to do that.
Yeah.
Since becoming a mom, which actually leads me to my next question. Do moms need more time away from the house, the responsibilities, the husbandry? Do you think that mothers need more time than fathers do to be away?
I think so, because we, as Wallace says, we have so many tabs open in our brain that we need to like get away in order to kind of like relax. If I'm home and I work from home, like I'm doing too many things. I'm working, I'm doing laundry, I'm figuring out, okay, what do I need to make for dinner? What do I need to take out? What clothes need to be taken out of the girls' room that it doesn't fit? What do I need to buy for them with the upcoming winter season? Are we missing toilet paper? Put it on the list. The floor is sticky. Let me clean the floor. Like I'm doing too much. So it's like I have to get out and away in order to be able to have that mom time, have that friend time, and I'm not thinking about the house or everything that needs to get done.
So why do you feel like it's more? All right. So I mean, that is a lot. That mental load that you just described would drive anybody insane.
Oh yeah. And
so, but why? Well, let me ask you this. Is it possible in certain relationships, depending on the dynamics, for that to be just as important if the father is carrying some of that mental load, right? I guess my question is that true for every relationship, for every marriage partnership, parenthoodship? Is that true for each one, where there might be somebody that needs a bit more time out of the house?
I think so. And I think with the seasons and whatever's going on in your life, it changes, right? So initially I'm like, 60% for your spouse, 40% for everybody else. But what if like I'm in the PhD program? Right. I need more time for me because I need to do all this research. Yeah. So it's going to be 30%. And then the rest is for me to further my education, get this degree and move on, right? So I think it just depends on what's going on in your life in the moment and how you can shift those priorities and who is going to juggle more at that time, right? Because people are like, it's 50-50. No, it's always 100-100. It should be. But sometimes it's going to be 70-30, 80-20, 99-1. Like I might be like done. Right. And I know that Wallace is going to be there to pick up the slack and vice versa. When they have a longer tour, I'm home for 2 months at a time.
Yeah, that's a long time.
You know, I know that he's just not chilling somewhere. Like he's literally working. But it's like, I'm also working, you know? So it's like, I'm working and doing the house. So sometimes I do feel like, when Wallace works, he gets away, you know?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, honestly, as a parent, you love, and welcome just a car ride by your damn self.
Mm-hmm.
Like, be able to listen to music that you want to listen to.
That you want to listen to, and not demon hunters and what's the other thing? Zombies.
You know, I discovered that in our pilot that I can give Lito headphones and he can listen to whatever the hell he wants to on a DVD. So that has restored some autonomy back in my car rides there and from.
Oh, nice.
And so it's nice. It is nice. But now he's talking so much more than I am talking to him. But yeah, like I said, there are days I just want to get away. And, you know, not for nothing, when I was Mildred, children change everything. Marriage changes many things. Children changes everything.
Yeah.
And before, I was still going out if I wanted to. I'd be like, oh, Dave, yo, E, you want to go out and go to the bar? It'd be cool. Just have a good time. And now I obviously got to coordinate because childcare has to be even. I don't feel the need as much to go out and expend. I used to be needed that, like I said, when Julie and I first met, and before that, it was like every Friday and or Saturday. Sometimes Sunday if I'm feeling froggy. But that's when I was living at home with my mom's. You know
yeah. Well, you wanted to get out of the house to get out of your mom's house, not because you needed to go out.
Nah. You know, and when Julie and I were living together for the first time, yeah, I mean, that still continued to some degree. But like I said, man, you already know where I'm going to be. I only go to like 1 or 2 or 3 places. But nowadays, I don't feel the need, honestly, to go out and expend and have the loud music therapy as much. And I think it is because priorities change, but your energy changes as well. And that speaks to how energy changes in marriages in general.
Right.
Who you are when you marry your spouse is not going to be who you are 5 years in. There's some core attributes that are always going to be there. And that's what you fell in love with. But you have to expect for somebody to change. I'm sure that you've changed. I'm sure that Wallace has changed. I've changed. Julia's changed. Like, you will change. You have to. And if you don't, if somebody's not changing in a relationship, that's a red flag. That's cause for concern. Sir, so what are some of the things that cause people or that delay people's growth in relationships, right? One of them is mental health issues. If you're struggling with depression or anxiety, whatever it is, and it's not being treated, yeah, you're not really going to grow, right? If you're struggling with making boundaries between your new life that you've built and the life that you had before with your parents, with your family. You are the oldest of how many siblings? 6. So there was a transition. There was a conscious choice that you had to make, right? In transitioning from Angie, la saber mami, I'm playing, but Angie, la reina de la familia, the big sister, to being, hey, listen, I'm a mom. I got kids now. I'm responsible for them. You guys are responsible for you. I still love you, and we're still responsible for each other, but in different ways. So yeah, I mean, there are a myriad of things that preclude people's growth in relationships. But what do you think are some of the biggest ones that keep people from growing as individuals in committed relationships?
Well, I would say ego.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because now, again, you have to take someone else into consideration and what they say to you about how you're doing something or how you made them feel. And then you're not accepting it because, oh, that's not me, though. But it is you to them. Like, that's their truth. So if you're over here being, condescending, or you're being machista or controlling. Machista.
Break that down for the audience who are not Spanish inclined.
Just like your macho energy, like being overbearing just because you're a man. Like, you can just do it because you're a man. Like, I can tell you what to do because I'm a man.
Right.
And like those traditional gender roles. Well, why didn't you make me dinner? Why you ain't got hands,
Yo.
So yeah, I think those things, and it's like you're not taking those feelings into consideration, what they want to do into consideration. So it's like you're letting you're leading with your ego, and then that's not cool, because why would you get in a relationship when it's going to be all about you?
Yeah, and to that point, ego is the antithesis of growth, in that you can't take accountability with an ego. Ego and accountability don't mix.
Yeah.
So if you're in a relationship, you trying to be right all the time, then guess what, boo-boo? You'll keep your ego and your pride, but you're going to lose the battles that are important, integral in how you fight those battles. And I mean, each of us has a bit of pride to a degree.
Oh, facts.
Like, anybody tells you they get married and they just give up their pride.
It's all about you now.
Yeah.
No.
And some people do that. Some people do that.
And they lose themselves, and then what happens? Then they're in a marriage for like 30 plus years and they don't even know who they are. So that's the other thing. Don't get in a relationship unless you have like a good sense, self-awareness, and two, like, you know who you are, like, even if you were alone. You know, don't get your validation and all of your uniqueness from a person.
What do you say then about the relationships where you see one person who gives up almost everything, right, about themselves? Their story before is no longer their story. Now it's our story. Their individual accomplishments are no longer theirs. They're our accomplishments. Is that healthy? Is that typical? Like, what if Wallace was starting to attribute everything he did to you? How would you feel about that?
So it's like you're pretty much just letting go of like your whole family that raised you, because it's like, where are they in this equation? I didn't get there till Wallace was 18. So from 0 to 18, you were what? Floating in the sky waiting for me to catch you? Like,
nah, he was in your womb or something.
Like, be for real. Like, okay, I'm not like a child psychologist or anything, but there's like a study, or we'll have to find it. But it's like from 0 to 5, it's like everything that happens to a child kind of builds the rest of their life.
That's true. I've heard that.
Are you right?
I've heard that.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, how can a man come to me and say I did everything for them? Bro, where are your parents? Where are your siblings?
What if you had a friend, though? What if you had a friend that got married that you really loved and cared about, and you saw them starting to give up much of their individual liberties and almost losing their identity and adopting one as a spouse only, and that started to really kind of take most of their...
Yeah, they need a self-discovery retreat. Eat, pray, love, if you will, to figure out and get back to like themselves, because that to me, that's not healthy. The same way, it's like you're what is it, dang, what's the thing, like you know that show on Netflix,
the serial killer one?
Yeah, but it's like he was like all consumed by the person, so it's kind of like this like stalker vibes.
Hey, you.
Yeah.
No, that. But you'd be surprised how often that happens in relationships in which, especially when it comes to marriage, and people bring these preconceived notions about marriage or goals about marriage based on either what was given to them in their childhood from their parents or what was not given to them. And what I've seen is that folks will almost be hyper vigilant in a marriage to the point where they overemphasize the commitment. And some people might be like, you can't overemphasize a marriage commitment. Like, marriage is solid, it's sacred, it's a vow before God and everybody and all that. And you can't. But let's keep it a stack. The divorce rate in the United States is at 51% right now. That is crazy. That's more than half of the people that get married. And that tells me that not everybody is getting married with a sense of self or a keen sense of what they're looking for. They're just getting married either because their parents told them to do it, or they're getting married because that's just naturally what they should be doing. I'm 33.
Yep.
Guess it's time to settle down. And what I want to say is don't. The only difference between marriage and you shacking up is that you're doing it legally. No, it's not illegal to cohabitate.
We put these own timelines on ourselves, though, Vlad, because no one is telling you, like, how old are you? 30? Should have been married last year, because you have to be pregnant by 30, because you got to have this baby by 31. But you know what I mean? Like, we do that to ourselves. No one is out here telling us that. I know, quote, quote, society is telling us, but it's like that number keeps moving every few years.
Oh, all right. Let me ask you this then. Do you think that women have a ticking time clock and need to accelerate, move faster in relationships because of that biological clock?
I feel like they think they do. And again, it's just everything telling us, right? Because I know, so I had Aria, I was pregnant. I turned 35 while I was pregnant. And it's like, oh, now I'm advanced maternal age, right? What? Be for real. It's like my grandma had her last kid at 43, you know? And it's like, they're fine.
My mom says my aunt gave birth to her child in her 50s, which I thought was wild. And I don't know if menopause is just delayed in the Caribbean.
It might be.
You know, it might. Maybe it's delayed because they're not eating all this processed yet. But yeah, I mean, there are self-imposed timelines and societally imposed timelines. But we're seeing that people are having families and starting families much later than what was thought to be normal back in like, you know, the 1970s, 60s, and 50s, right? You just said one of your friends had,
he's 45 and she's 43, 44.
And it's their first.
And it's their first one.
And, you know, I have a cousin who's always like, man, I don't want to have kids that late because then I won't be as vibrant. I'm like, listen, vibrancy is not age-related. Vibrancy is a self-disciplined, self-managed experience. So if you want to be vibrant at 45, you're going to be vibrant. If you want to be old and sluggish and I can't keep up with my kids, and guess what? You're not going to keep up with
because you see it all the time, right? You have like my mom is going to be 65 and she'd be out here walking 3 miles a day, keeping up, you know. Then there's people in their 80s, the same thing. They're lifting weights, they're doing this stuff. And then you see some people in their 50s look like old banana and a stale avocado. And it's like, banana. You chose to do that.
What? Wait, when we say old banana, I mean, how brown are we talking? Are we talking to like just browning all over?
The little brown spots, just crinkly.
We talking about like it's leaking from the bottom.
All of it. Ew. Oh my God, Vlad.
Y'all ever had a banana? Shout out in the comments. You have a banana. Listen, to Caribbean, you got to keep everything. So sometimes mom was like, "Oh, it's not that bad."
I'm gonna throw up.
It's just a little mushy. That's all. Oh, all right. Well, yeah, but to that point, yes, are you gonna be okay?
I'm good now. Stop talking about them leaky bananas.
Oh man. You know,
I brought it to myself.
I actually like riper bananas. So the other day, not too long ago, I bought a bunch of bananas and they were straight green. And I was like, bet, they just ripe. And so I tried to take the skin off of one of them. I'm like, oh shoot, this ain't right. I tried to bite it and it was like biting into a glue stick. It was tough. But yeah, timing is what you make of it. And what I've seen though is that almost every time somebody felt like they had to do something that was a major life decision, right? Like they had to buy a house, they had to buy a car, they had to have a child, they had to create a marriage and start one. If you begin by starting things too soon, before you're actually ready, not before you feel like you need to, but before you're actually ready, I've almost always seen it backfire afterwards. You get the car, you get the house, you get the marriage, you get the relationship, and now you're like, oh wait, damn, I gave a lot of myself. I want to still go out. And it might not happen right away. It might happen 15 years down the relationship, but somebody might be like, oh, I got married so soon. I was so young. We were so young, but I still wanted to finish and get this degree. I regret not going to Mount Everest and climbing that. And so my question is, what are we rushing into?
Yeah.
And why are we doing it? Like I think there's two sides to the equation, right, Angie? I think you can take too little time to jump in a relationship, and sometimes you can take too damn long too. Like if you know you want to get married or your partner wants to get married and you both agree on that. We're gonna get married someday, have kids. But it's 15 years later, y'all still talking. Y'all need to get something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because if you meet and you say you want to get married, don't get married right away if you feel rushed. But at least take those steps in that direction, right? Go to marriage counseling. You don't have to be like engaged to go to marriage counseling. Marriage counseling is literally, let's see if we're compatible long term. Let's have someone that knows these things ask us those questions that we didn't even think about because we're young. We didn't think about it. We have rose-colored glasses, like, you know, and they'll ask you, like, how would you handle finances? How would you handle if you had a child with a disability? How would you handle, you know, anything else that might pop up that you don't think about because you're all lovey-dovey and that's all you're thinking about, not like the grittiness of marriage and the things that could happen. So do that, you know, like prepare yourself to do those things and be a wife, be a husband. Because that's another thing I don't think people take into account. I feel like we're always focusing on how to make girls wives, but never how to make boys husbands.
Say something.
It's always like, oh, well, you want to get married one day. Learn how to cook. Oh, you should keep a house. Oh, you should do this. But it's never like, hey, boy, women go through all these hormonal changes and all these things happen. And, you know, you have to be there for them, support them, do these things. They need extra rest, like all these things. So boys just think that girls need to be the homemakers and doing all these things and keeping a home. They should also be doing those things.
Well, no, I agree. They should be doing those things. I think it would benefit everybody to be having these community conversations very early.
Yeah.
And setting the stage the stage properly for a partnership between men and women, because men don't think they have to do those things because they feel like we're taught that we only have to focus on one sector, and that's provision. And if we're only taught provision through the lens of financial contributions, then of course we're going to expect our sandwich and our hot meal made.
Yeah, what do you mean I have to wash the dishes? I just was at work. Guess what? It's 2025. So was I.
Yeah,
I was also there.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Now it's one thing if you are in that same scenario. It's one thing if you're in a situation where a man is the breadwinner, the woman is not working, and there are no kids in the house. And then
no kids is the big thing.
That's the big thing. I'm kind of like, all right, man, like what you gonna do? But let's keep it a stack. And when we're talking about relationships on TikTok through the lens of social media is jacked up right now, because you got a generation of people going into relationships with these lopsided ideas of what true parity looks like in a relationship. So you got girls be like, well, if he's not making 6 figures, I don't know why it's 6 figures, but if he's not making 6 figures, I don't really want to do that work today. Like, this is all this stuff, right? And I'm like, what are you bringing to the table? There was one interview with this girl who was like, well, a man's got to have 6 figures, and he's got to be able to do this, and he's got to be strong, and he's got to be tall. I don't date dudes that's shorter than 6'5", and he's got to be able to take care of me and my babies, and I'm going to raise the best babies that we possibly can have. And the interview was like, well, what are you going to do? What are you bringing? Well, I think I'll be a loyal wife. He's like, so what? Loyalty's fake.
Well, my thing is loyalty's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Like, literally, why wouldn't you be loyal and him be loyal? But continue.
And I'm not going to say loyalty's fake. Let me walk that back. But like, loyalty can be lost at any time. All it takes is for one bad argument or for one heartbreak or betrayal for loyalty to be gone. So once the loyalty's gone, then what else you going to do? How you going to get that back? By just being looking pretty?
And I don't have a problem, Vlad, if the man is the breadwinner, the woman stays home with the kids, she doesn't work, because that's what they both decided to do. And I think that's my problem with this whole like trad wife thing. Like, oh, I'm a traditional wife.
Wait, what?
Like, yeah, like trad wife, like traditional wife.
That's a thing? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Enlighten home.
Yeah, so it's like that. The man is a breadwinner, the woman stays home. She makes everything from scratch, and she takes care of the kids, and she takes care of the house. By all means, if that's what you want to do it. But my thing is, you have a choice.
Yeah.
Back in the day, trad women didn't have a choice. That's what they had. That was the only option available.
They were trad by default.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, if you choose to do that, go off, queen. Be a traditional wife if that's what you want. But the thing is, you chose to do that. It's not like what your husband tells you to do. You decided that that's what you want to do. Your household can, do that because he works, makes enough for you to stay home. Perfect. But don't then crap on people that want to work, because I could never be a stay-at-home wife, Vlad. I need to work. I need to do something besides have all that house responsibility and kids on me. And I like that the girls see that. I like that the girls see that I work. I like what I'm doing. Wallace works. Like, we work together. Like, our house is what it is because we love each other. We love them. But I couldn't. And again, individually, like, my mom was made to be a trad wife, quote, quote. She likes doing all those things and having a bunch of kids. Like, she doesn't get overwhelmed by kids, the house, the cleaning. She could literally take care of like 4 babies and they all go to sleep for her at the same time.
Oh.
Oh,
you brought up something that made me think of a good question that I think will really benefit our audience and our listeners. Say Wallace did make enough money. Say Ball in the House hit it big and went to, like, I don't know, they were just going on a global tour, raking in like millions of billions of dollars. As Trump would say, billions of millions, 40, 50, maybe 70.
Why are you bringing that into? Okay, go. Continue.
Because this dude's always throwing out numbers that don't make sense. He's like, yeah, man, the prescription costs are going to go down 200%. That means that I'm going to get money back, brother. Okay, just going to say that. But say he's raking it in, and he says, Angie, I don't need you to work anymore. Matter of fact, I don't want you to work anymore. I want you to stay home with the girls. Because you don't have a need. There's no financial need. You don't have to contribute anymore. What would be your response?
Thank you, but no thank you. I like the option of being work optional, but I still need to do something. Maybe not that my job is rigid, but it would be rigid for me to like travel with him everywhere with the girls. I would work somewhere that's a little bit more flexible, but still work.
Well, what if he didn't want you to work?
I would still work. That would be a conversation, Vlad. It wouldn't be a command. You're not working.
But what if it was a command? Or what if he said, I don't want you to work. I want you to stay home with the girls.
Like, stay home? No. No, thank you.
Go and
I'll
take the
stop
girls
working.
home,
I'll
whatever.
stop working like half of the year to travel with them, but I'm gonna still work. I'm gonna be on somebody's. I'm gonna get a W-2 from somebody in that year,
or minimum a W-9.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't just not work.
Okay, well then that brings me to my next question. What are some things that are acceptable in a committed relationship for you to ask your spouse to give up? When is it acceptable to do that, and what are those? What are those examples?
I think if it makes sense for the family and we are both in agreement for it to happen. And again, and I say that like, oh, I'm never going to not work. Again, if it made sense at that time, like you said, world tour, why wouldn't I want to see the sights, right?
Right.
Obviously, but not forever. It wouldn't be like a Angie's never going to work again type thing, you know?
So then what are the things then, say you and Wiles get married and it's your wedding day and you say, okay, I need you to give this up for us. Like, what are some examples of that in which it's necessary, it's healthy?
Oh, that it's healthy to give up something?
For you to ask somebody to give up. Like, what are some of the things that you, for example, I think it's completely reasonable, right? For you to ask your husband or your wife, hey, listen, we're getting married now, so you need to stop going to strip clubs.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Or we're getting married. It's unhealthy for you to do X amount of drugs if you're like, you know, like your addiction, like any kind of addiction that's gonna get in the way of your marriage or just your livelihood. Like, I want you around for these future kids we're gonna have.
Well, that was actually my next question too, is it okay for you to ask your partner to tone down the work and say you married a workaholic and they're like, all right, the only way I know about provision is through financial contributions. Many men fall into this trap. If I'm not working, I'm not useful. If I'm not useful, I'm not providing. If I'm not providing, then why am I here? Yeah. So they work hours upon hours. And sometimes, and at first, maybe the partner is like, this is great. We live where we want to live and we have the things that we want to have, but I don't have you. But then that continues.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So like, is it okay for her to be like, yo, you need to tone it down? Or him to be like, hey, yo, wife, my girl, I need you here.
So I think yes, only because like to your point, where is he? He's always working. It's like, we're not spending time with you and you're the person that we want. But then again, if the other person expects this lavish lifestyle and the only way he can get it is through overtime, which means he's not there, then it's like, what do you want more, me or the lifestyle?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like having that conversation. It's like, okay, you still want the lifestyle and me. So what are you going to do to bring in more money? Or do we both need to get a higher paying job that lets us still spend time together? But something's got to give, either the job or the lifestyle.
When there is a matter of money, right? Say you guys come into a hot spot and you need more money. And these days it's happening more and more, right? I think that's why OnlyFans is so popping right now, is because economically things are hard. Jobs are hard to come by. And, you know, look at all the massive layoffs that are happening if you're in the federal workforce or a civilian military employee. So, you know, who does it fall on to fill the gap financially? Does it fall on the husband or does it fall on the wife, in your opinion?
I think both. So if the wife's not working, it's like, how can we cut costs back?
What if she is working?
How are we going to make more money? And, you know, because again, I don't know how people do their lives, but if we're together, we're making a budget together, you can cut subscriptions, you can cut like groceries. Maybe we don't
dining.
Yeah.
For God's sake.
Right. We don't have to eat out every day. We don't have to eat steak on Wednesdays. You know what? We're going to eat fish on Wednesdays or meatless meals or whatever.
Or maybe we just stay home and have a lunch date or have a date night in and where we cook a meal together. Julie and I used to do that all the time when we first started dating.
Cute.
Yeah, and it's fun. And you get to do things. You're not just going out and being served, because that has its place too. You just want to lay back and get a nice dinner, have a nice meal, have a nice drink or whatever it is that you're into. But it is nice to be able to not only have a nice meal, but to construct it together where you have to work together and build. Yeah, I would recommend, whether you were starting off or in the thick of it.
That's good. That's a good date night.
Yeah, like, find a recipe that you guys like. Find something that you both want to eat and just have it inside. And then you could look at Julie and I love just having a meal inside and watching trash TV. Like, you know, or watching a riveting documentary that's going to talk, that's going to elicit some conversation. So, but getting back to the point, I think it's acceptable to ask for a spouse to give up behaviors that are detrimental to your relationship.
Yes.
Especially ones that make them uncomfortable. Now, does that mean if I were married to Jules, which I am, but if I was like, hey, Jules, you know what? I really don't like the fact that you watch the Kardashians on Sunday. I'm going to need you to give that up for our relationship. Then it'd be like, all right, okay.
Right, because how is that affecting you?
Well, if I say it's hurting my face, like I hate this show. And not for nothing. We watch Playing Trash TV now, but I told Julie, I'm like, I will not watch the Kardashians with you. You could watch it with your sister, you could watch it by yourself. I am not watching that with you. Because just personally, nothing against Kim personally, but her voice makes my brain cells melt through my ears.
When my homegirl's watching her Kardashians, that's the time you need to go take a walk, because that's not making your relationship bad. It's not like she's over here acting out decisions they made with you. So who cares? See, things like that is like, surface stuff.
No, and there's compromise. The compromise is I don't watch it with you. You don't watch it with me. That's cool.
Exactly.
Like, there are documentaries that I watch by myself. Julie watches documentaries by herself all the time. That's fine. But, that's a ridiculous example. But I think some of the bigger contentious examples that we have is when, because at the core of every divorce, almost every divorce, the vast majority of divorces in the United States is finances. How do we handle finances? And when couples file on financial times that are hard, that's usually what breaks people up, right? So I think asking somebody to give up their livelihood is one of those make or break situations.
Yeah.
Why? Because it may just be about money, but it rarely is. Somebody might have a job that means more than them bringing a paycheck home. That is the extension of themselves.
Yeah, like a passion that they have.
A passion that they have. If you know this person's not going to, like if you ask Wallace to quit, if you made more money right now, you ask him to quit ball in the house, I'm sure it would break him in a lot of ways.
But I would never do that, Vlad.
But what if you were making more money? What if you were like, yo, we are billionaires, stop.
Oh, we're not making billionaires, but I definitely make more than Wallace. I would never make him or even ask him to give up something he loves. Wallace was literally put on this earth to sing. And he does that.
Well,
every day.
He could do that in other ways, right?
How? Tell me. Tell me
I'm asking
Tell
you.
me outside of being a singer where Wallace would sing for a living and be happy.
What if Wallace then just decided, what if you decided, okay, I need you to stay home with the girls? Because let's just play devil's advocate or angel's advocate.
Why would I tell Wallace to do something I would never do myself?
Ooh.
I would never want to stay home with the girls. The girls are being enriched in school. Why would I keep them home? I am nobody's teacher. We work with, Alana knows how to read. We work with her letters and everything at home. Minimal. I'm not spending 8 hours trying to teach a kindergartner how to read, bro.
Shout out to all the people who
listen. If you're a teacher, God bless you. You should get paid millions of dollars because I couldn't do it.
Facts.
I couldn't do it. So why would I ask Wallace to do something I myself would never in my life? I'd rather you pull out my eyelids than me stay home with children.
Well, what if
my own children that I love dearly?
Right.
I would not do it.
Well, you make no bones about how difficult it is for Wallace to be on the road
Terrible.
sometimes for like 2 months at a time. And it's a lot having the girls by yourself. It'll weigh on you eventually, right?
Oh, it weighs on me.
But why? But then knowing that, you still stand firm in that you would never ask him.
No, because I know when Wallace comes home, he's home, and then I get to run away. We spend time together as a family, and then I have my own time to do what I want to do. And I know it's coming. Literally, my motto in Wallace isn't there is, this is not forever. And what do? I call you. I call Julie. I call Christine. I
Bring
call
the girls
Darnell.
over. Yeah.
There's other people. And again, if my mama lived anywhere near me, if my sisters were anywhere near me, do you think I'd care that Wallace was gone?
Hell no.
Hell no. Obviously, I'll miss him, and I'd want him to be around. But I would not be like boohoo crying like I do when he ain't here. So.
Okay. So this is my last question, and this is a big one. So I want us to really think about this. So we're talking about what is healthy to give up. We've discussed some of the things that are, some of the things that aren't.
Yeah.
Let's say you have that timeline in your mind, that imposed timeline, and you're like, I need to be married by this date, children by this date, house by this date, retirement account like this, boy, girl, whatever, lamb, if you want a lamb or a horse.
A little baby goat.
Right. Say Wallace or your partner, a person is not particularly ready to take that plunge just yet. Their timeline is different than yours. Is it acceptable or advisable if you're with somebody who's kind of putting pressure on you, to bringing pressure to take that next step and you're not ready? Is it advisable or acceptable for a person to concede their own comfort for the greater good of the relationship? So say I'm not ready to get married to you right now.
Okay.
And it's not just get ready. I'm just not ready. I don't feel ready. For example,
I'm not there.
I'm not there. For example, many men don't feel ready until they're able to say with certainty that they'll be able to provide. All right, there's a classic example. But the wife or the partner is like, I need this right now. Is it okay for that person to be like, I'm not ready, but I love this person, so I'm going to move forward even though they're ready and I'm not?
I guess only if you think you're going to lose them if you aren't ready at that very moment. But that sucks because then it's like you're giving up a part of yourself because you're not ready to take that leap, but you're taking it. So it's like you're giving up more than your autonomy. I can't even think of the word.
Thinketh. Thinketh?
I can't thinketh of the word.
Thou cannot thinketh of the words.
But because it's like, okay, you're not ready. What happens when you do something you're not ready? You fail. Yeah. So it's like you're setting yourself up to fail. Wow. And maybe why does that person feel like you need to be ready right now if you're not?
Well, maybe they just see something that they feel like their partner doesn't see yet. And maybe they feel like if they commit in a big way, like having a child or having a marriage or buying a house together, maybe they feel like that is going to bring them to where I'm at. You
know what? So when you said buying a house, it made me think of something. You need to consult the experts. An example. So when Wallace and we had Alana and we were in this basement unit. I was like ready to get the hell out of there. And Wallace is like, we're not ready to buy a house, Angie. And I was like, well, Wallace, I really think that we can do it. Like we've been saving money, like the market, blah, blah. I think it's time. So Wallace was like, I don't know. So then he's like, well, why don't we ask the financial advisor? And I was like, so if the financial advisor says that we're ready, you'd be okay. And he's like, well, they're an expert. So if they say yes, then yes. What happened when we called the financial advisor, Vlad? What? He's like, you guys are in a great shape. You don't spend money. You're saving X amount every month. The market is great. Why wouldn't you buy a house right now? Yeah,
do you feel like he just didn't feel like we, meaning you and him, were financially ready? Or was it just he wasn't ready to make that next leap? That's different.
Yeah, I think he just felt like, why not wait to save more money?
I see.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that he thought we would fail if we bought a house, but it's like you never know what could happen. And at that time, Wallace wasn't working because of COVID.
Yeah.
I was the only one working. And we wouldn't be able to use his income at all. So we were only buying a house with my income. And even though we had the down payment for a house, he's like, what if we don't find a house? Because we were only using my income. So then I was like, but we'd never know until we do it.
Right.
Like we have to get pre-approved first. Like, and if the financial advisor is telling us that it's okay, we have to trust the experts. But it wasn't like we just went out on a whim. Like he was more comfortable getting that check off from someone that knew what they were talking about. Like, I don't work at mortgages, neither does Wallace, right? So we went to someone that knows to tell us, yes, you're ready. And I think in those situations, again, therapy or someone that knows to talk about like, is this insecurity coming from that you're not ready to take that step? Is it, to your point, trauma? We're always going back to trauma. Things happen to us, and then we're stuck in whatever age it was that the trauma happened. So it's like, do you not feel ready, or are you really not ready? So let someone else tell you, someone that knows.
So in that scenario, though, where maybe it's not as black and white as we have money, but could we be saving more?
Yeah.
Say it's my partner's ready to get married, and they keep dropping hints that they want to be married and they need to do it, or they give me an ultimatum. And I'm still not ready. Even if the ultimatum, I'm sitting on it and I'm thinking about it and I'm listing the pros and the cons and I'm weighing my options, I'm weighing my feelings, and I'm still not settling on doing that because I just don't feel comfortable. But I feel like I'm going to lose this person if I don't respond kindly.
So does this person just want to be married, or do they want to be married to that person that's telling you they're not ready? You know what I mean? It's like, so what do you want more? The person? Or this idea of a marriage?
I think that's the question.
Right? Because if I'm telling you I'm not ready, what kind of marriage are you going to have with a not ready person? You know,
I tell you,
the bread is baking. It's telling you it's still mushy, but you still want to eat it.
And like, you have some mushy bread. You mad mushy now in your mouth, man.
Right. It wasn't ready. It wasn't fully baked.
Right.
You know, so it's like, who are you mad at? The bread or yourself because you opened the oven early?
Right. Wow. I like that analogy.
Right. I just made it up right now.
Yeah, come on, Angie, with the analogy.
Right.
Today.
So be for real.
Yeah. I think that's an excellent answer and an analogy and a way to explain that, because when you do that, right? Because the question was, is it acceptable or is it advisable? I think we both can land on, no, it's not advisable for you to make a decision out of haste or out of scarcity. And if there's somebody who's pressuring you to get married to them because they're ready and you're not, if it goes beyond one conversation, that means the pressure is building and it's continuous, then you should know that person is more focused on the commitment, more focused on the next step for whatever reason. Maybe they got a grandmaster plan, or maybe they just are really insecure and they need people to know that they're married and all set and happy.
Because I'm 30.
Because I'm 30 or 35 or 38 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that should tell you everything you need to know. I don't personally advise that you ever get into a relationship out of pressure, because there's, like I said before, right? If you guys have been talking for like 5 million years, then yes, you need to eventually make a leap.
Right.
Okay. But if you're not, and you feel like you have to eat it in order to defeat the problem, then you're going to end up being resentful. Right. It may not be tomorrow, may not be next week, but you will. It's there. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take to get to the surface. And marriage is so loaded for so many people, especially if you've been through trauma, parental trauma. You were raised by single parents. You might want, or maybe you were raised by parents who were really great and had a great relationship, had a great marriage, and you feel that pressure on you to replicate that. You don't need to do anything for anybody but you.
Right.
Marriage is a joint effort, but it's just as personal to the individual as anything else is. So I guess that would be my final thought, right? Is that people will tell you that you get into marriage for two people, but let's keep it a stack. Everybody does something for some sort of personal benefit, whether it's fulfillment or whether it's out of selfish need for something that you need. So you should not go into marriage just doing it for somebody else.
Right.
Marriage is not a favor. It is not charity. It is hard work. You're not giving somebody a leg up for free. You're required to put something into it. And so the strength and the health of the marriage is really dependent on the individual development and strength. So if you're not ready, don't do it. It's that simple. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about that. Whether it's marriage, house, starting a family, buying a car, whatever it is. If it's a major life decision and you're not ready for it, you will not be doing the person or yourself any favors, forcing yourself to shrink in order to make it fit.
Yes. And I guess my final thought would be, ladies, especially the ladies, you shouldn't want to marry a man only because he wants a wife.
Ooh.
You should marry a man that also wants to be a husband. Not just because he wants you, pretty girl. Okay? He needs to be able to give to, as Vlad said, it's two people trying to outgive each other in for a marriage to work, I feel like. So don't settle and don't rush. That's it.
That's it. You know what I realized? We're talking about not settling. And we settled this in this episode. You realize that, right?
Why?
Because we got so gung-ho about this episode that we didn't even tell nobody to subscribe.
Bro.
Subscribe right
Please
there.
Please subscribe.
Dang, man.
No, we're going to have to add it at the beginning, too. Just a little blurb. Literally just you popping this. Subscribe. Just real quick.
Listen, we love this podcast. We have officially surpassed 250 downloads. So thank you to all of our podcast folks and fans. We love it. And make sure you drop love in the comments. We love seeing YouTube comments.
Yes.
We launched our Facebook profile, so make sure we're going to put it right here in the show notes. Make sure you check out our Facebook profile, updates there. And yeah, tell us what you love. We want to hear your reviews too. Can you review on Apple Music and Spotify?
Yeah, I think you can leave comments and stuff like, give us 5 stars or whatever.
Yeah, give us a 5-star review if you like what you hear, because we're really trying to get the visibility of this out into the organizations and to the people that need to hear it, because these issues affect every single body. All right. So let us in, yo. Let us in. It's your boy Vlad the Bull, your number one embrace coach.
And Angie, la cyber mommy.
We are out of here.
Stay rooted.
Deuces.
Deuces.